Right now, all around you, an invisible world exists. Millions of chemical messages are floating through the air and dissolved in water. A constant stream of information that most of us barely notice. But for much of the animal kingdom, this chemical landscape is everything. It's how they find food, avoid predators, locate mates, and navigate across vast distances. Welcome to the extraordinary world of olfaction, where a single molecule can mean the difference between life and death, and where some animals possess abilities that seem almost supernatural. To understand how remarkable these abilities truly are, we need to start with the basics. When you smell something, whether it's fresh coffee or blooming flowers, you're actually detecting molecules that have traveled through the air and landed in your nose. These molecules dissolve in a layer of mucus and bind to specialized cells called olfactory receptor neurons. What happens next is a masterpiece of biological engineering. The binding of a single odorant molecule triggers a cascade reaction that amplifies the signal millions of times. This allows animals to detect substances at concentrations so low they seem impossible. We're talking about parts per trillion, like detecting a single drop of perfume in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. The signals travel to the brain's olfactory bulb, where they're processed and interpreted. But here's where it gets fascinating. The number and variety of smell receptors an animal possesses determines not just what it can smell, but how well it can discriminate between different odors. Buried in the DNA of every animal is a genetic library, the olfactory receptor gene family. In mammals, this is the largest known family of genes in the entire genome, and the numbers are staggering. Humans have about 390 functional smell receptor genes. Dogs have over 800, but the true champion? The African elephant, with nearly 2,000 functional genes, 5 times more than humans. These numbers tell a story of evolutionary priorities. When smell is crucial for survival, evolution invests heavily in it. When it's less important, genes become non-functional pseudogenes. Humans have a high percentage of these defunct genes, suggesting our ancestors gradually relied less on smell. But for animals that depend on their noses, evolution has crafted increasingly sophisticated chemical detection systems. Let's begin our journey through nature's chemical detectives with perhaps the most familiar, the domestic dog. Dogs represent the pinnacle of olfactory sensitivity. They're the bloodhounds of the mammalian world. A dog's nose is an engineering marvel. Their olfactory epithelium, the tissue that houses smell receptors, covers 170 square centimeters compared to just 5 in humans. They pack 100 times more receptor cells into this space. The result? Dogs can detect some compounds at concentrations as low as 1.5 parts per trillion. This extraordinary sensitivity allows dogs to detect the volatile compounds released by cancer cells, find buried explosives, and follow a days-old scent trail through a busy city. They're not just smelling, they're reading a complex chemical story written in molecules we can't even perceive. If dogs are masters of sensitivity, then bears are the champions of long-range detection. A grizzly bear can smell a carcass from 20 miles away. That's like detecting a hamburger from one side of Manhattan while standing on the other. The secret lies in their anatomy. A bear's olfactory bulb, the brain region that processes smell, is at least 5 times larger than a human's. In polar bears, the olfactory epithelium covers an astounding 2,500 square centimeters. This massive sensory apparatus turns their nose into a long-range chemical radar system. For a bear roaming across hundreds of square miles of wilderness, this ability is essential for survival. They use their noses to locate scattered food sources, identify potential mates, and avoid dangerous encounters with other bears. But if we're talking about the true aristocrats of smell, we must turn to the African elephant. With nearly 2,000 functional olfactory receptor genes, elephants possess the most sophisticated chemical detection system of any mammal. This genetic wealth translates into extraordinary discriminatory power. Elephants can distinguish between molecules that differ by just a single carbon atom. Even more remarkably, they can tell apart enantiomers, molecules that are mirror images of each other, a feat that challenges even our most sensitive scientific instruments. In the wild, elephants use this chemical sophistication to distinguish between different human ethnic groups based on scent alone, correlating specific smells with levels of threat. They can even perform quantitative assessments using only their sense of smell, choosing a container with more food over one with less. Their trunk isn't just a nose, it's a chemical analysis laboratory. Now let's venture into a completely different world, the realm of insects, where evolution has pursued a radically different strategy. Instead of building generalist systems, many insects have become ultra-specialists, and none more so than the male moth. A male silkworm moth has evolved an almost unbelievable sensitivity to just one thing, the sex pheromone released by females of his species. Neurons in his antennae can detect a single molecule of this chemical, literally one molecule. Just 170 molecules are enough to trigger his complete mating behavior. This allows males to locate calling females from over a kilometre away. It's evolution's version of narrowband high-gain detection, sacrificing broad discriminatory power for ultimate sensitivity to a handful of life-critical signals. In the world of chemical detection, the moth has achieved what engineers call theoretical sensitivity limits. Detecting chemicals underwater presents entirely different challenges, and sharks have evolved one of the most elegant solutions. They've turned their sense of smell into a GPS system. A shark's nose consists of two separate nostrils, and here's the key. They can detect the tiny time difference, just 1/10 of a second, between when a scent reaches one nostril versus the other. This stereo-olfaction allows the shark's brain to instantly compute the direction of the odor source. That characteristic side-to-side swimming motion isn't random. It's actually strategic sampling, allowing the shark to continuously refine its bearing toward prey. They can detect amino acids from potential prey at concentrations of 1 part per 10 billion, with an effective hunting range of several hundred yards. Perhaps the most astonishing feat of olfactory navigation belongs to the Pacific salmon. These fish accomplish something that seems, well, almost impossible. They memorize the unique chemical signature of their birth stream as juveniles, then return to that exact location after spending years in the vast Pacific Ocean. During a critical developmental stage, the young salmon's brain learns and permanently stores what scientists call the home stream olfactory bouquet, a complex mixture of dissolved minerals and organic compounds unique to that waterway. This chemical memory remains intact for years. When the adult salmon begins its final journey, it uses this stored memory to discriminate between the chemical compositions of countless river systems, making the correct choice at each junction. It's olfaction as a sophisticated navigation system, turning the sense of smell into a long-term map-like guidance mechanism. Snakes have taken yet another evolutionary path, developing not one but two sophisticated chemical detection systems. They can smell with their nose like other animals, but their secret weapon is that famous forked tongue. When a snake flicks its tongue, it's collecting chemical particles from the environment and delivering them directly to a specialized organ in the roof of its mouth called the Jacobson's organ. This creates a dual system airborne detection through the nose and contact detection through the tongue. This adaptation is so successful that even fully aquatic sea snakes have maintained their chemical detection abilities underwater, though they've lost the airborne system they no longer need. Evolution rarely builds such complex systems unless they provide significant survival advantages. What emerges from this journey through the animal kingdom is a profound truth. There is no single best nose in nature. Instead, evolution has crafted a remarkable diversity of solutions to the challenge of chemical detection. The elephant may be the master of discrimination, the dog a specialist in sensitivity, the bear a champion of long-range detection, the moth an ultimate specialist, the shark a superb directional hunter, and the salmon a master of olfactory memory. Each represents a different peak on the vast landscape of olfactory evolution, shaped by millions of years of environmental pressures and survival needs. The next time you catch a whiff of something pleasant or detect a hint of danger in the air, remember that you're participating in one of life's most ancient and sophisticated forms of communication. All around us, invisible messages are being sent and received in a chemical language far older than words, a language that continues to shape the behavior and survival of countless species on our planet. In the end, the world of scent reminds us that there are forms of perception and awareness beyond our human experience, hidden dimensions of reality that other creatures navigate with an expertise we're only beginning to understand.